You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
Welcome to Mr. Credit. We are live and local here in San Diego, bringing you the most important hour in radio, telling you everything they don't want you to know. When we say they, we mean the Wall Street gangsters, the government, the banks, the bureaus, the media, and whoever else out there might be trying to deceive you so they can get into your wallet. Remember, you can send me emails. Just visit MrCreditRadio.com. You can also do a Facebook search for Mr. Credit, and you will find me there. Padres are tied for the lead in the National League West right now with L.A., thanks to everyone who called in the show yesterday and corrected me. Yes, there was no game yesterday. It's tonight downtown at 7 p.m. against Baltimore. Baltimore, the worst baseball team in the major leagues right now. I don't know if they've won a game yet. We should destroy them. It should be a good game to go see. At least listen on the radio right here, San Diego 1700. You can catch all the Padres games, so save this station in your dial tonight, 7 p.m. downtown against Baltimore. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the end of free checking. You know, your free checking account that you have and enjoy so much, that is going to be over soon. I'll explain to you why and tell you when that's likely to occur. Also, Bank of America's CEO visits the White House. Hey, how about that? All right. Yeah, the circle of trust, right? The people who are supposed to be looking out for us are in bed with the profit makers. But we'll dissect that. We'll tell you what's up, what's going on with that. Also, another debt collection scam that you've got to be leery of. Okay, these scammers are out there. The scams are never going to stop, especially when these companies can use these internet phones to call you from India, and the caller ID says a local area code on it. Okay, and that's one of the new tricks that these scammers are using to try to get your money. We'll tell you how to avoid all that. But first, we must do a little bit of bragging, and we must do a little bit of kudos. Now, the Lakers won the championship last night, Game 7. They are the NBA champions for 2010. Have to give another quick applause there. Now, I am not a huge basketball fan. I'm not a huge Lakers fan, but I really don't like the Celtics. So I want to take a couple of seconds just to say, Boston fans, sorry, you lose. How does that taste? Now, at the same time, I do like to watch basketball, especially playoff basketball in the NBA, and I have never liked Ron Artest. In fact, I kind of really hated the guy. He's just one of those guys that gets under your skin. He's kind of a dirty player. He loses games for your team all the time. But he bought me last night. He had a way above average game for himself, kept us in the game even though we were down 10 or 11 points, and then we were able to come back and win. Unfortunately, I was watching with what I would consider to be a TiVo rookie, someone who TiVo'd the game. We were watching it, try to skip the commercials and things like that, and 4 minutes left in the game. The Lakers are up by 4, and it stops. So I didn't even get to watch the last 4 minutes live, but they ended up winning by 4 anyway. So I did want to say one more time, Boston, so sorry. You lose. Now let's go to today real quick. World Cup, USA gets down 2-0 early on, comes back in the second, down 2-0 at half. In case you didn't catch the game, it was on at the crack of dawn this morning. I got up to watch it. And they're down 2-0 at the half. They come back, they score 2 goals, and then score a third goal, legitimate third goal, that gets waved off for essentially no reason. I mean, the referee just said, nope, I'm not going to let it happen. You go back and you look at the tape, there's no foul. If anything, we're getting fouled in there. We scored the third goal. We should have won that game. We lost the game, but I'm going to blame the keeper. If you go back and look at the second goal that Slovenia scored on us, it was a one-on-one with the keeper. And if you watch where that ball crosses the goal line, it crossed in the middle of the goal, and it was a ball that was hit on the ground. There's no way, when he's closing out like that, that should even be possible. And if you go and you look at that second goal by Slovenia, it's our keeper that hurt us today. The keeper and the ref, between the two of them, they cost us a very important win that we should have had and very well could have ended our chances of moving on. So we'll just have to see what happens now. Hopefully England will tie or lose against Algeria, but it's unlikely. Either way, it was an exciting game, and I hope that we can somehow make it through, because I think it would be a joke if Slovenia and England were the two that came out from our pool. That's not good for the World Cup. That's not good for anybody. But if you're a fan of the USA, then you should not be happy about what happened today. So let's jump to story number 1. MrCreditRadio.com to send me emails or get access to my educational video library. If you don't want to do the email thing or you're not an emailer, you can call me, 858-571-0271. So, this is the title of the story. This is from Reuters. Reuters typically pretty reliable. And this is something I've been telling you is going to happen. It's going to happen. Remember, when the banks are in a situation where they are able to portray, they're able to have their cake and eat it too. Think about what they're doing right now. They are telling the government that they are broke, all right? And they're
wow, that is brutal.
They're telling the government that they're taking a beating, but they keep reporting these profits. So they're getting the best of both worlds. They're getting the free money from one end, and then they're able to go and charge money on the other end and justify it by saying, hey, things aren't so good for us.
More money, more money, more money.
And that's the way it's going to be. Now, they're going to take that angle, and they're going to end this free checking thing across the board. Across the board. Listen to the story. U.S. banks may end free checking accounts. Report. Bank of America Corp. and other U.S. banks may introduce new fees on basic services and eliminate free checking to replace revenue lost to new banking regulations. New banking regulations. Revenue lost from what? From the Card Act? That was legitimate. I mean, that is ridiculous. There is no way that they can use that as an excuse in this situation. They're finding excuses to try to charge you more money, but that's not a good one. I could think of 3 others that would be better. This is just absurd. The move is expected to hurt retail clients who could be asked to pay new monthly maintenance fees on the most basic accounts that do not generate a lot of activity, the paper said. So to avoid a fee, customers will have to maintain certain account balances, means you have to have a certain amount of money with the bank, or frequently use other banking services such as credit and debit cards, automated teller machines, and online accounts, etc. So banks supposedly incur an expense of between $250 and $300 a year to maintain each banking account, each checking account, and there's roughly 200 million checking accounts. All right, so when you add that up, it sounds pretty expensive. But what they're not telling you here, and this is how you know that B of A was behind the story, because that's all they're talking about is B of A, is they're not telling you how much money they're making on your money. So there's 200 million checking accounts. Let me scratch my head really quick here. So if there's 200 million checking accounts, what's the average balance in that? How much money are they holding on to? How much money? Tell me that. Because I want to know how much they're making off the money that's just sitting there. If you're going to say that, oh, well, we have this expense, well, then you have to say, well, we also generate this much revenue from it. You can't just say, oh, we have this expense, so we need someone to give us some money. That's not fair. That's not right. And of course you're going to have an expense. You're a business. So of that expense, which you're talking about, this is an expense, maintaining these checking accounts, let's say it's $300 a year per checking account to maintain it. You have 200 million of them. Well, if there's only $1,000 on average in these checking accounts, $1,000, you're talking about $200 billion that you're holding on to. So now, not only is it not good enough for the bank to just hold your money, they're going to charge you to hold the money too. You see how that works? Yeah.
Well, you're going to eat it whether you like it or not.
You see? So you're going to be in a situation where the bank is saying, yeah, give me your money. Let's take your money, but you're going to have to give us some more money too. Just holding on to all this money is not good enough. We need to charge you to hold this money for you. And the FDIC insurance is not worth that much unless you have a huge wad of cash, in which case these fees may not bother you. But for most people who are going check to check to check, you start adding these fees up. Everybody's going to start taking the money. Everybody's going to start nipping at you. I'm telling you, when people are broke, when the government's broke, the banks are claiming to be broke, and the cities are broke, the counties are broke, everyone's going to start nipping at you just a little bit. And when people live right on that edge, it's going to start pushing people over. And that is not what we want to see. So it says Bank of America may lose more revenue than most other big banks because it is in the process of dismantling its checking overdraft program in the face of new restrictions. So what they're trying to say is that because they used to have all these little setups in place to where if you use your check card and you go over, they let the transaction go through, but they charge you a fee. They're saying they're losing that revenue because of the new regulations, and that's the reason why they need to start charging money on this. But in reality, if you have $200 billion, and I think that's a low estimate, they should be able to make an absolute gob I mean, an absolute gob of money off of that.